Hi, my name is Rowena Nelson. I'm a lawyer licensed to practice law in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. My office is based in Largo, Maryland. We primarily focus on bankruptcy cases and family law cases. We also handle some business matters, but primarily we practice debtor bankruptcy and family law. I've decided to put this small video together to try and answer some of the most frequently asked questions during this time that we are going through. It's an unusual time, and people are already having difficulties, and they had some type of case filed or they're contemplating filing a case, but they do not know how to navigate the system during this time. So it is my hope that some of this information can help you and reduce some of the nervous tension and assist you.
So, Attorney Nelson, could you just share any information, just in general, for anyone who might be facing any difficulty around this time, if it's family, financially, or whatever info you might have, that'd be very beneficial to anyone out there?
Absolutely. I would say if you're in need of any legal services, please contact an attorney. Attorneys are essential employees, and they are still actively working in their offices. If you do have a case that's pending, you want to follow up with your attorney to see if there's anything that you need to do to cooperate with them to make things easier. Some of the courts in Maryland and locally in the DMV have started scheduling different hearings via Zoom for divorces and family cases. Bankruptcy court has been doing the Zoom and telephonic hearings for a little bit over a month now. So check with your attorney and see what's appropriate to your case currently. But if in fact you do need legal services, please don't hesitate to contact a lawyer to help you during this time. Also, another thing that you can do, you can go to the court's website if you have a case in Maryland, DC, or Virginia. All of those states have a website that you can check your case specifically. You can see if the court has rescheduled your court date. You can follow what's happening. You can also check the court site to see when they're going to be open or if they're issuing other orders in terms of the operation. So although first thing you should contact your lawyer to see any instructions they might want to provide you, but you can also follow up with your case by checking those sites.
So, Attorney Nelson, with any issue dealing with family matters, if my lawyer calls me and tells me that I have a Zoom scheduled hearing, what do I need to do to get myself ready for this Zoom call?
That's a great question. So if your attorney contacts you and say, hey, Levi, I know you've been waiting since March 20th for your hearing and it's been continued twice, and finally the court called back and says, you have a date and it's being done via Zoom. What you would want to do is schedule an appointment with your attorney. But before you schedule your appointment, think about any critical information that would be helpful to your lawyer. If you have a witness that would help your case, you want to tell your attorney about that if you haven't already had those discussions in the previous weeks. But you would want to make sure you have all of the things that you would like to accomplish in your case. So, for example, if your case is a divorce case, you want to remind your attorney, do you want a name change after your divorce? Are you looking for alimony? You want to remind your attorney of what you're trying to accomplish in the case. If some of those goals have changed since the time the case was filed, you just want to remind your lawyer, this is what I'm trying to accomplish at the end of this divorce. And then if there's any new evidence that came along during the weeks that you have not been in constant contact with your lawyer, you want to present that to your attorney as well. And then your lawyer will schedule an appointment. The two of you can go over those things and be prepared. Most importantly, you want to practice with a friend how to get onto your appointment. You put in the phone number and the password. Make sure that you're able to do that. Don't wait until the day of to download Zoom to your phone, and don't make your court hearing the time that you're practicing how to use Zoom. You should already be familiar with that and be ready at the time that your case is going to be called.
Attorney Nelson, so for the people that are in a domestic violence situation right now, do they have to wait till the court is done to take any legal action? Like, how soon can they get help?
If you're in a domestic abuse situation, absolutely you can file right away. In fact, I would encourage you to file right away if you're in a situation where you're in fear for your safety, or in fear for the safety of a minor child or an elderly person. You can absolutely file for immediate relief. The court is actively hearing those cases. They are not being delayed, and you will get a protective order, and the court will not put your case on the back burner. So do not hesitate to file for a protective order if you're in any type of an abusive situation.
Attorney Nelson, so I have a question for you. Prior to COVID-19, my spouse and I were thinking about filing for a divorce, and now with COVID-19, everything being closed, do we have to wait till everything reopens back up before we can file, or we still have the time to file now?
That's an excellent question. You do not have to wait until everything is up and running, until your state has gone through the phase 1 reopening for COVID-19. You don't have to wait for any of that. In fact, your attorney can still paper file your family law case. What they will do is send in your filing via mail. The clerks are still at the courthouse. They're still working. They will prepare the summons. They will send it back to your lawyer. Your attorney will then take the summons, give it to their process server, or send it by certified mail to your spouse. Your spouse will then comply with the deadline and file a response within 30 days. At that point, it will then be up to the court as to when they're going to schedule your case, and so your attorney will keep you advised as to any new and upcoming court dates that you might have. But absolutely, you do not need to wait. In fact, I would advise you not to wait, because if you wait until everything opens up, you're going to be in a big long line with everything else. Your case will take a longer time to come before it's being called. At least if you file now, it's actively in the making, and your case will come up sooner, as opposed to waiting until everyone is filing.
Okay, if I just filed, will my 341 meeting be scheduled, and do I have to go?
Yes, Levi. If you just filed your case, you're still going to have your initial 341 meeting, which is your initial meeting of creditors. The trustees are still actively working on your case, and if you're assigned a Chapter 7, Chapter 13 trustee, you will still have a meeting date. Each trustee is handling your meeting date a little bit different. Some of them are holding the meetings on Zoom, some are holding them telephonically. Again, your attorney will prepare you for this. Also, the new notices that are being mailed from the court will advise you as to what format your meeting will be in. So you can check your meeting notice, or if you don't understand the initial notice, then feel free to call your attorney, who will explain it to you, but you will still have your initial meeting.
That's really great information. Thank you for letting me know that. And do I still have to abide by the deadlines in my case?
Absolutely, you still have to abide by the deadlines, and this is largely due to the fact that, again, bankruptcy is done electronically. It has been that way for many, many years. And when the case is initially filed, you have several deadlines that are put in place, and the court is not, the operations of the court are not closed, and so things are still actively being done. Creditors are filing motions. Your attorney has to respond to those in a timely fashion. you have to attend your first meeting, then there's your next hearing, if it's appropriate to your case. And so those deadlines must still be complied with.
Okay. With all of that being said, when should I expect my discharge?
In terms of your discharge, that's something you will want to check your initial meet-in notice when the court, after your case is initially filed and the court schedules your initial trustee meeting. They will also schedule in the different deadlines. The deadline for your discharge is one of those timeframes that will be noted on that initial notice that you will receive.
Okay, great. What should I do with the affidavit from Chapter 7 trustee regarding telephonic hearing?
That's a great question, Levi. And at this time, because the meetings are being done electronically, as you know, when you file your bankruptcy case, it's done under your social security number. Due to that, the trustees want to verify and make sure that the person who is appearing in front of them is in fact the filer of the case. Before all of this happened, you would meet the trustee in person. They would be able to verify your social security number, your driver's license, and do all of that in person while looking at you. Now they're doing it through video chat, via Zoom, or telephonically, and they still have to verify that it is in fact you that's appearing for this meeting and not, your cousin who's doing it for you or a friend.
That sounds really great. I have a few questions to go. Do I still get an automatic stay if I file my bankruptcy case now?
Absolutely. You still get an automatic stay if your case is filed. All of the benefits of filing bankruptcy are still pronounced on you when the case is filed. The automatic stay is a protection that you get from the actions of creditors. They will still be stayed from pursuing you for any debts that they're trying to collect. They will not be able to go after you, and it is in effect.
Okay, Attorney Nelson, thank you so much for all the info you've shared so far. And I have only one last question for you. How will my creditors know that I filed for bankruptcy?
So Levi, when your attorney prepares your case, or if you're filing it yourself, pro se, there is a creditor address matrix that's a part of your petition. That address matrix contains all of the names and addresses for your creditors. The court then takes that matrix, they send out a notice to all of the creditors so that they are aware that you've filed.
Thank you so much for answering these questions, Attorney Nelson.
Thank you.